Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of our ice fishing essentials guide. We're going to go through the stuff. We showed you what we had in our bags and roughly explained it, but now we're gonna go one box at a time and break it down. So this is my jig head box. I have these darter head style that are good for like minnow baits. Then the ball style jig, which is good for just about anything really. Pretty versatile. Then let's see, I start out boxes out with the lighter stuff on this side, except these, and I work up to the heavier ones on the right. And then I have the Ned style heads. I don't usually use them too much ice fishing, or haven't yet. I might play with that, but this box goes with me. You know, it's a universal box. I take these in the boat and ice fishing. So some of the stuff doesn't really get used that much on the ice, but it's there. And, sometimes it's good for experimenting. You never know what'll work, where, and when. So let's see. This is my terminal box for the ice. And basically I have some ball bearing swivels that I have for the tip ups. Put this between the tip up line and the leader. Then I have a couple various sizes of snaps that I use for like ripping wraps and jigging wraps and that kind of stuff. Spoons. You get a little more action with them, and it's easier to change them over quick. Then I like to carry some circle hooks. These are size 4, which is usually what I'll use when we jig up the smelt for bait. You know, for browns or whatever, lake trout. The circle hooks are nice because they usually swallow them pretty good, and you know, that way you don't have to dig them out of their gut. They're usually hooked right in the corner of the mouth. And I have those that are size 4s, and these are size 1s for the really big ones. You know, the big like 8-inch smelt we'll use sometimes for Lakers. Then I like these VMC bladed trebles. It's a treble hook with a little, let's see if we can hold that nicely, with a little blade on it. And I like to put those on spoons, especially heavy spoons. I'll show you one when we get to the spoon box. That's good for, you know, Lakers and active fish. The heavier spoon you're going up and down just gives it that little bit of extra flash. Then I carry a couple sizes of treble hooks, usually for making up some quick strike rigs for pike, or for replacing on jigging spoons or whatever. Then I have some big circle hooks. Excuse me. Nope, I lied. These are just big regular octopus hooks, like a pike hook, 5/0, 6/0, for big pond shiners or suckers. Then let's see, we have, so I carry a bunch of different regular hooks. These are number 2, and I carry number 4s. Let's see, 2, 4, and then a 6 and 8. And these will basically cover any size minnows we'll use on tip ups through the year. And then also in here I have just a sounder, a little depth clip, and that's it. That's it for that box. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, spoon box. Good. I'll show you the treble hook use there. So this is actually in the wrong box. This is one of the jigs I use for smelt. It's a Haley jig. It's just a little weight with a chain and a tiny hook. Then I got a couple of these, I believe are VMC rocker jigs. Basically the same thing, But it's just got a little glow bead on the hook, and it's a little bigger hook. Really good for perch, by the way. Then these are some flutter spoons. That's a leech flutter spoon. Another leech. That's, I believe, a tumbler spoon. Slender spoon. Another tumbler spoon. These are just flashy jigs. They're good for, you know, anything trout, panfish, bass, whatever. And I got some, you know, all sizes. These little ones I like for crappie sometimes when they're really active. Here, I mean, this is like a classic. That's just a Swedish pimple. That's great for, you know, it's heavy, so it's good for deeper water. Got a big one, a little smaller one. These two, I haven't used these yet, but I have high hopes for Lakers with these. They're Tingler spoons? Yeah, VMC Tingler, and they're very flashy. I got a gold one and a silver one. I mean, if gold or silver doesn't work, you know, it's probably not going to work. Those two colors are pretty good all the time. This is a live target spoon. It's a casting spoon, but it has a nice action. So I'm going to throw that out for some Lakers and see how that works. Some rattle spoons here. Again, I have gold and silver in my two favorite colors. And you probably can't hear that, but little rattle spoons. Then these little frosty spoons. It's just a little, kind of a little heavy for its size spoon. You know, tip those with some spikes or, you know, a little minnow head or whatever. Works really good. And then here's what I was talking about with those bladed trebles. That's a big frosty, actually a forage minnow, my bad. And it's heavy, so when you drop it down, it kind of does this little shimmy on the way down. But that tail also is spinning, and it's very flashy. Works really good on Lakers around here. The really clear water. They can see it from, you know, forever away. Alright, next box. This is bigger box. So we have Jig and Wraps. This is probably one of my favorite lake trout jigs of all time. It's just a number 9 silver and black Jig and Wrap. Super effective. This is a Jig and Shad Wrap. Same thing, just a shorter, fatter profile. Then for really deep water, I like these tailspins. This is just solid metal, so it's super heavy. It's like 1.25 ounces. It gets right down. It's kind of the same principle of the spoon with the blade on it, but it's just, you know, like a heavy jig. And then last year I really did well on the brown trout on this little gold ribbon wrap. I think it's an ultra light ribbon wrap, and really good on that one. Then I have these Acme Hyper Glides, and they're cool. They have these little, it's like a jig and wrap, but they have these little wings, and when you're jigging them, you can kind of just pulse it in place, and these wings just kind of, they'll flap like that. And it's almost like gills breathing. They'll really, sometimes that's a real good trigger for them. And also when it follows those wings, it kind of just hovers down nice and slow. So nice. Really like those. What else? We got more Jig and Wraps, medium, small ones. Some bigger Hyper Glides here. You know, the big size. Then that's a Shad Jig and Wrap. And then I have a slab wrap. It's basically silent. Kind of like a rip and wrap, but silent. And then the blade bait. This one has no hooks on it, but it's super simple. It's a regular blade bait. Silver Buddy, I think. Oh, and I do have some actual rip and wraps in there as well. If you check out our last video, we did pretty well on some smallmouth on those ripping rats when the water was still soft. Alright, this is my heavy jig box. So I have these glow spoons. These are trout and pout spoons. Super heavy, durable glow paint on them. They glow really well. I don't know if you'll be able to see that right now, but these are excellent for burbot and lake trout. Here's the same kind of spoon, but silver. That's what I use, you know, a little shallower during the daytime. Then I have these 1 ounce VMC Moon Eye jigs. Good for burbot. Put a little minnow on there and just bounce it on the bottom. I have another depth weight in this box, sounder. Then some Hopkins spoons, a lot of them actually. Laker Taker, this is a lighter fluttering spoon, but all basically just big spoons, crocodile spoons. Also a good one. And then I actually have a couple of slow pitch style jigs. Haven't done much with them yet through the ice, but I think this year we're going to experiment with that a little, and I think these are going to be pretty good for Lakers. I have high hopes for those, so we will see. Next up, we're getting down there. My line box. I think I showed you guys last time, I'm not sure. But this is all my fluorocarbon. I have 2 pound, 4 pound, 10 pound, 15, 8, and 6. I have a spool braid in there too. But those basic, I mean, with those sizes, that covers just about anything. Maybe short of pike. Pike's the only thing I would probably change any size for. And that would either be a steel leader or a heavy fluorocarbon, like 60 pound or better. But then I have this line I'm going to give a shot this year. Suffix metered tip-up line. Let's get it out here. What I really like about it is it changes color every 5 feet. So it goes white, black, white, black, white, black. In the past, what I've used has been a button on the line to slide to the depth you want. But this is just so simple. Sometimes that button will get stuck. It's just one more thing on your line. You'll get stuck on weeds, rocks, under the ice, whatever. I have high hopes for this, so we'll let you know later in the year how that works out, but I think it's going to work really nicely. So you put your leader on. I mean, obviously you know how long your leader is, and then you just go from there. You know, you got a 2 foot leader, you let out 5, you're on 7 feet. You know you're at 7 feet, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about the button slipping. You know, you catch a fish on the way in and it moves and you don't notice it. All of a sudden you set it back and now you're at 10 feet and you know you're fishing right on the bottom and maybe you didn't want to be. So that's cool. We'll see how that works out. I'm gonna put these back in here. I'll put them up here for now, actually. So let's see, these are cool. I don't know if I'll use these much for ice fishing, but they're like a 3-way swivel. But instead of being like you know, at all the same angle, these are just a straight line with one coming off the side. So I don't know, we'll see how those. So you might see them in a video coming up. We'll see what happens with that. But this is probably my most used box here, and these are my smelt jigs on this side, and this side is all my tungstens. And really, this is like what I use for 90% of my ice fishing. Would be a little tungsten jig, and then either a plastic or a little spike on there, or a piece of minnow, anything. But these are what account for most of the fish that I catch through the ice. It's probably what I have the most confidence in. But usually you can always catch fish on those. We have two different. there's a lot of different styles in here, but there's two basic. I'll grab the big ones so you can see. Two basic styles that you're gonna want to have. One is the horizontal, which is your line ties up here. So when it's hanging in the water, it's hanging horizontally. So when the fish come in, they're seeing a bigger profile. And on tougher bites, you might want to switch to a vertical one. So when it's hanging in the water, it's vertical. So it's just less of a, the profile is smaller. Especially if they're coming from the bottom up, you can barely see that from the bottom up. So some days that really works well with fish when they're finicky. Just a good little way to go about it. You have the two styles. Usually one's better than the other. You just got to play with it and see which one is working that day. This is my old jig bag, which I still keep. Can't really use much anymore because they're lead. But these are a bunch of little teardrop jigs. So they're not, they don't, like I said, they don't get much use because you have to be in a place where it still allows lead. But these little tube jigs, actually, these were killers on some brookies and rainbows a couple years ago. Those are good. But anyways, on to the next ones. So that's about it. I mean, I have some bobbers and bobber stops. My ice picks. I think I showed you the light last time, the smelt light. It just hooks up. It's got two clamps on it. Goes to a 12-volt battery. Drop it down the hole. And then I keep the camera for the aqua view. This goes over the hole. Put your camera cord in there, and then you can, turn it for different view. Let's see. Then I have this little hookout tool on a retractable lanyard. I'll take this right off actually when I'm fishing. It clips on here, and let's get that off. I'll clip it on my jacket clips, so I just have it right there. Easy access. Hook the hook, poke it out. It's nice, simple, it works really well. So let's go in this pouch. Oh, I carry a couple of scents with me. This is shrimp flavored, I don't know, Procure. And this one is sardine. Both seem to work pretty much the same. They're just a little bit of scent on there. Sometimes it's enough to help close the deal on them. I don't know. I do use it a lot, but it's not the end of the world if you're not using it. I think sometimes it'll get you a few extra bites, which is nice. Let's see. I got these otter tails. These are just like a little flap. They're good for tipping like a bucktail with. A lot of people, especially around here, like to jig for Lakers with a bucktail, and they'll usually trim a piece of sucker belly on there to tip them with, which is good. I mean, obviously, it's hard to beat live bait, fresh bait, but those are nice because, you don't always have to have a bucket to keep the sucker alive till you get there. If you decide you want to do it, they work, and it's right there in a nice little jar. Here, very important, dude wipes. Sometimes you gotta make a run to the bank. You're gonna be happy you had these. Extra towels for my pants, a knife, some split ring pliers, and then, let's see, I got these tip up lights here too, which are pretty cool. There, let's see if it'll work. Ooh. Got that oil on my hands from that otter tail. But yeah, so these clip on your flag, and when it goes up, it blinks like that. So when you're fishing at night, low light, early in the morning, it's nice. You can actually see the flag instead of having to go around and check them. So I got a couple of those in there too. And then, let's see. Oh, and this is my plastic bag. I got all kinds of different ones. Some tubes for anything really, but those are big on the Lakers. And then you got some Zoom flukes in here. Same thing, use those on a jig head for lake trout. These little tubes, I like those, crappie and panfish. Along with these are like a little minnow bait. Those are really good on some crappie. A little bit big probably for bluegill, but perch eat them too, so good for those. And then I have these smaller plastics here, all different kinds. I don't care about the brand. All the brands are pretty much, you know, they all have a decent product. It's kind of a shape you want, you know. There's like the thin bloodworm type shapes. Then you got like a little creature bait thing, which is good for bugs and stuff that you'll find in the weeds. And then yeah, those are the plastics I use. They're like, I mean, just basically a nice long thin tail. It'll get you a good action. The ball on these is nice because you get the meteor hook in it, and you just got that little wispy tail that you can work really well. So that is most of my tackle. Let's see, I guess I'll go through the rods now. Come on. So this is my heavy rod. I don't use it all that much, but I have it just for super heavy jigs. It's medium heavy, and I got a big reel on it. I'll use this for those heavy trout and pout spoons, pound it on the bottom, just so that, you know, they're like 1.25 ounces. So the normal rods I use are just too weak for that, and this one's nice for that. I use braid on most of my rods too. I like the ruggedness of it. A lot of people don't like braid. I shouldn't say a lot, but there are people out there who don't like it for ice fishing because it holds water, but I don't know. I think having the toughness of the braid is more important than having a little freeze in your line. You can always strip the ice right off it. Let's see. These are the rods I normally use for my automatic fisherman. One of them has a spoon on it right now, but these are the two I normally use for my automatic fisherman. They're Shimano Sahara 1000s on a medium light, 28-inch rod, and wow, I should have checked this for tangles first, but basically I run it, you know, braid, do a fluorocarbon leader, some split shot, and then a hook. And that's it for those. Ow, those hooks are sharp. But yeah, I have two of those. Two of these are identical setups. This one has a little jig and spoon on it, which I'm going to take off and put in the box. But it's a nice little setup. Cheap too. I think these are, man, the rods are like 30 bucks maybe, 40 bucks, and the reel, I don't remember what these reels are, I think 50. But basically it's under $100. So, I mean, it's not super cheap as far as ice reels go, but it's really quality for the price. And on the other side, those are the ones that are quite a bit more expensive, but I really like them. Obviously you don't need a super expensive rod. You can make do with, you know, any rod that's gonna catch a fish. It's all personal preference, really. I happen to really like these St. Croix custom ice rods, but they are pretty nice. This one is, let's see, this is my medium heavy. This is a 32-inch medium, and this is what I will use for most of my moving, like action baits, jigging wraps, ripping wraps, bigger spoons, all on this rod. It's got a good, decent backbone to it, so you can really work those lures well with it. You don't want, the worst thing I think is when you have a jig on there and before you even jig it you have a preload in your rod like that. You're losing a lot of sensitivity and action through that. So that's why I like to have different, you know, different rods for different presentations. Same as open water. So then this is also 4-pound braid on here. 4-pound braid, 4-pound fluoro leader. Let's see, then I step down a little to a 32 medium light. This has 2-pound braid and I usually run a 3-pound leader on it. This is for, I'll use this for my heavy tungstens, smaller jigging wraps, basically the same thing as that rod but scaled down smaller, plus the heavy tungstens. So that's that guy gets used for. And lastly I have in here my lightest rod, which is the Pan Dancer from the Croy Custom Ice. And I have an inline reel on this because this is normally like 99% of what I use on here are little tungstens on 2-pound line for panfish. And the inline reel is nice because you have no line twist. It you know, greatly reduces that, and then straight fluoro on this one. Yeah, basically that's it. It's a really good light setup and I really like it. So that is everything in my ice bag. Alright guys, so that's what's in my bag. That's what goes with me. That's what I use to catch fish. So don't forget, we have a couple of really good giveaways out there. Number 1, coming up, 250 subscriber giveaway, Storm Arashi Glide. It's a really good glide bait. It's like a $30 or $40 value. All you gotta do is subscribe and leave a comment on the video. And then once we hit 250, I think we're like 30 away, 35 maybe away. We're gonna pick somebody and we're gonna send it to you. Then the next one is our 500 subscriber video. That is gonna be a St. Croix Mojo bass rod, Shimano Sahara reel, spooled with line, leader, some jerk baits, some Roxor plastics, and a couple of jigs and whatnot. So that'll be a really great, you know, setup for coming up this spring. It's going to be, you know, just what you need to get out there early in the year. Hopefully that's when, you know, it's gonna be up and we're gonna pick somebody. Same thing on that one. Comment on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and once we hit that 500, we're gonna pick somebody and give it away. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this helped. Hope you guys, you know, get something from this, maybe some organization, what to bring, whatnot, and yeah, hopefully we see you on the ice.